There is no way that LeBron James is already a first-ballot Hall of Famer. That every year about this time, every analyst and national commentator seems to leap on to prematurely crown LeBron the king. King James is the king. He's the greatest player we've ever seen. He's the most talented player in our game. And everybody gets swept up into this hysteria to crown him just because he's the three-time MVP, while conveniently forgetting the giant glaring asterisk that you just tossed off a second ago. You just touched and went on. And that is that the most talented player in the game, in 4 of the last 5 playoffs, has flamed out as spectacularly or unspectacularly as any great player we have ever seen. I'm not talking about one flame out, chosen one turning into frozen one. I'm talking about 4 out of the last 5 years.
Did LeBron make the right play?
Here we go again. Obviously, no, he did not. And once again, I sat back in front of my television and I yelled, "What are you doing, LeBron?" And I yelled so loudly that my new puppy Hazel thought I was mad at her. Then Ernestine got mad at me for scaring the puppy. And I was simply frustrated with the man you call the best player on the planet, right, Shannon Sharp?
He still is.
Still is the best player on the planet, for passing up the last shot inexplicably, just mind-bogglingly. And for the 1,000th time, I'm going to say it again, LeBron James, as great as he is, as gifted as he is, was not born with a clutch gene. I am sorry to say it, but it proved me right once again. So, I actually, the last time we did an all-time top 10 ranking, I actually had LeBron 9. There's no way to me, and I don't want to just beat this all to death again because we just went through The Last Dance, watching it on ESPN. But in just sheer killer will, LeBron does not have that Michael Jordan had. Okay. That's just me. So that separates those two. That's why I have Jordan number 1. That's also why I have Kobe and Larry Bird, your favorite player as a kid. I have them in the 2 slots just ahead of LeBron on my list. I got Kobe 7, Larry Bird 8. And it's because of that thing, that killer will, that drive, that clutchness, that thing where that refused to lose. I think they had it stronger than LeBron has it. Not to say that LeBron isn't all-time gifted in so many ways, one of the great passers ever, a great scorer. He always says, I'm not a scorer. He can roll out of bed and get you 28 or 30. And in a minute, I will go right down the list of teams that will forever regret passing on Johnny Manziel, who pretty soon will change football life in Cleveland, Ohio. One day, I am predicting, Johnny Manziel will become even bigger in the city of Cleveland than his buddy and business partner LeBron James ever was in the city of Cleveland. One day, the passing connection. Miami Heat, who were 75-1, the longest shot ever to make the finals in the last 30 years that this stat has been kept, that any sort of odds have been
What you want me to do about that?
75-1.
You told me you play who you play.
Shannon, you want to know the truth?
Yep.
This cakewalk of a finals victory actually hurts LeBron's far-fetched GOAT case more than it helps it.
How?
This is an epic mismatch. This ring should be made of cubic zirconia.
Oh, no. Oh,
yes,
no,
cubic
bro. Oh,
zirconia. Because this one has a big old asterisk beside it.
We're not doing that, Skip.
We're doing it. I'm doing it for you.
Giannis said he shouldn't have one.
Michael Jordan never had a path this easy to a ring.
Can he, right now, at 52 years old,
right here, right now,
beat LeBron one-on-one? I mean, and beyond, come on.
You know, Stephen A.
Oh,
Smith?
gosh, don't do this.
You know? He just might be able to.
Don't do
He
this.
just might be able to.
Okay.
2 months is all I would need. I would train him, actually.
Uh-huh.
And I believe that on intangibles alone, we're talking about the mentally toughest superstar in the history of sport going up against, head-to-head with a man in LeBron James whose mental toughness has sometimes been a little in question in the biggest moments. This would be the biggest moment of LeBron's life. He would be up against his idol. And trust me, he'd start to shake a little bit. His palms would start getting a little wet as the game got a little closer and tighter in the end. Obviously, it was a runaway train for the media to jump to the conclusion that LeBron James was MVP of this series. I get that, because LeBron James was a freight train on the basketball court.
I don't like how I'm hearing this.
Okay,
I don't like what I'm about to hear.
You just gave me what LeBron's definition of MVP was. You know what he said when Steph won? And he said, well, obviously he was the best player, but maybe somebody else was more valuable. That's what happened in this series. I do not disagree that LeBron was the best player on the court. And I get you, he can stuff that stat sheet like nobody's business. By the way, if I may include this before I start my argument, he also stuffed the turnover category of the stat sheet because he tied the all-time finals record for most turnovers.
Get to your point.
Okay.
What are you going to say, Skip? What are you going to say?
LeBron James was great, but Kyrie was more valuable in this series. Kyrie averaged 31 a game over the last 4 games.